Yo, what's good, game? Back again with another video, man. Look, man, Jimmy High Roller, bro. Honestly, bro, I remember watching him when man's only had like 200K, bro. Seemed so unbelievable. But this dude, I'm trying to tell you, he be bringing like the facts, bro. Like, he is the most wokeest sports content creator in the world because he drops facts, bro. He drops facts, man. But today, man, we're gonna be seeing what Jimmy High Roller is talking about. He said something I never thought I would see. So let's see what he never thought he would see. Let's go to it.
Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Paul, Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, Stephen Curry, Jason Tatum, Brandon Ingram, John Morant, Jalen Brown, DeAndre Ayton, Kyrie Irving, Pascal Siakam, Desmond Bane, Jordan Poole, Brandon Clark, Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, CJ McCollum, Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, Klay Thompson, and Nikola Vucevic. Now, you may be asking yourself, why did I just name 26 random NBA?
Well, I would say these are probably all the best players on their team. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I would say.
Players with absolutely no context.
I would say that.
They're not random. These are all the players who have outplayed Kevin Durant in the first round of the NBA playoffs.
Damn, okay, I was wrong. Damn. Shout out to Jimmy Butler, man. My boy Jimmy Butler going crazy in the playoffs, boy.
I've seen a lot of things in my
Jimmy
day,
Buckets.
but never, ever did I think I'd see the day where Brandon Clark outperforms Kevin Durant in the playoffs.
Brandon Clark.
And yet here we are. After being held as the favorites coming into the 2022 NBA season, the Nets have been bounced out of the playoffs in a first-round sweep thanks to arguably the worst playoff series of Kevin Durant's career.
Definitely the worst. Definitely the worst
ever seen from an NBA superstar? Or is Durant just the latest addition to a long list of all-time greats with all-time playoff meltdowns?
Everybody has their bad games,
Today's
bro.
video is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticketing app that makes buying tickets faster and easier than ever before. And with the NBA playoffs in full swing, SeatGeek is here to get you in on the action. Just download the SeatGeek app and use the promo code Jimmy to get
Jimmy, I love you, but I gotta go.
5. The Chicago Bulls are facing the Orlando Magic in the second round of the NBA playoffs. Michael Jordan had just returned to the NBA 6 weeks prior after his first retirement and was still shaking off the rust. The Bulls knew the Magic were going to be a tough matchup, but at the time, no one knew just how dominant this Magic squad was.
I mean, look, they had the young Shaquille O'Neal. Of course they're gonna be dominant, bro.
Only 27 years later, can we look back on this game and say that it would go down as the worst playoff performance in Michael Jordan's entire career?
To one, finishing off Charlotte on Thursday night. Jordan clocking the clock. Shot clock down to 6. Michael Jordan not able to hit. Jordan slicing through, and that is rejected. And didn't get one there. Michael Jordan. Stephen Kukos, Longley up front. Jordan.
Damn. Yeah, bro. They had what's the name locked up, bro. They had Jordan in a coffin. What did he shoot this game, bro?
Under 3 minutes to go in the third. Jordan did not have the shot. Jordan. Now Grant over to help. And Grant with the steal. And Jordan spinning his way.
Oh my God, they are some hounds on Jordan in this game, bro. They are some hounds on this man. I'm talking about running circles around this boy.
19 points, 8 turnovers, 36% from the field, and 0 for 2 from 3. The worst playoff stat line of Michael Jordan's career. The Bulls went on to lose this game, and Michael ended up with a game score of 2.6. An average playoff game score from an average NBA player is about 8, which means that for a single game, Michael Jordan played considerably worse than an average player. On that night, MJ wasn't the best player on the court, or the second, or third, or fourth. In fact, Michael had one of the worst games of anyone that suited up that night. This is the first, and probably last time you'll see MJ at the bottom of any sort of list on this channel.
Yeah, nah, for real.
And I bring up this infamous 1995 playoff game because after seeing Kevin Durant play in this year's playoffs, I began to wonder, how bad can things truly get for an NBA superstar? It's one thing to miss some shots, get on a bad run and find yourself struggling to get out of it. It's a completely different thing to collapse for an entire playoff series as your team gets swept out of the first round
I
of
know,
the playoffs.
bro.
In
It's
Durant's
so bad,
14-year
bro.
NBA career, I have never seen him play or even act like this on the court. KD was playing so bad that I was genuinely wondering if he was dealing with some sort of serious injury.
Me too,
Are
bro.
KD and Kyrie beefing or something? Did Durant bet against the Nets in this series?
Nah, he had to bet against it.
I've never seen Durant look so hesitant and disengaged and just off.
Yeah, he
the
was
last time
off,
we saw
bro.
KD in the playoffs, he was averaging 35 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists a game, while carrying the Nets and nearly taking down the eventual champs in the Bucks by himself. What happened? Just take a look at KD's playoffs numbers throughout his career. There's a steady increase in production and efficiency for over a decade. Even last season, at 32 years
57.
old, after not playing...
Only one time he has ever shot below 50%. That's actually, well,
his numbers
below
were still
45%. Let's just say that.
Now, here's
That's
his
actually
scoring
insane,
numbers
though.
from this year's playoffs. I'm looking at a cliff right now. From the Kevin Durant we all know and love,
That is a crazy
to this
cliff.
player that seems so unsure in himself and his abilities. We all watched this series unfold and we saw just how bad he was playing. But the extent of his troubles goes much further than you may think. The Nets are the only team that didn't win a single playoff game in this year's playoffs. This is the same team that was favorited to win the finals at the start of the season. Well, almost the same team, with the subtraction of James Harden and the addition of Bench Simmons.
He
Ben
doesn't
Simmons.
have the heart. This guy doesn't have it. There's no dog in it. There's no dog. There's no dog in the guy. He's soft.
But I ask myself, is this the worst playoff run from a superstar ever? There's been some bad showings over the years. Playoff series that made us question the entire legacy of a player, monumental choke jobs. But was Kevin Durant's first round series against the Celtics one of the worst we've ever seen from an all-time talent?
Yeah.
Well, I checked. I searched through hundreds of playoff series by
I would
some of
say
the
just
greatest
about.
players in NBA history. And the answer may not be what you expect. Okay, so here's a chart of the worst playoff performances by all-time greats over the last 40 years, with game score on the y-axis and net rating on the x-axis. Now, I only included seasons once a player reached their prime, and immediately there's some key points that jump out.
Kevin Durant
This
is
region
down
right
there,
here
bro.
is the legacy tarnishing region. If a player has a playoff series that lands them in this region, it will inevitably lead to harsh criticisms of that player and their abilities as a whole.
Definitely,
Within this
yeah,
region,
definitely,
you will find a
definitely.
handful of the worst
Shaq,
playoff series by some of the
IT,
greatest
AI,
players of all
Kobe,
time.
Chris Paul,
But
Kevin
you know what
Durant.
series you won't find in this region? LeBron's 2011 finals against the Mavericks. One of the all-time biggest playoff meltdowns in NBA history. And it's not even close to one of the worst series by a superstar that we've ever seen. Here's Stephen Curry's 2016 finals performance, where after winning the first and only unanimous MVP in league history, Curry had an absolute meltdown in the finals. His team blew a 3-1 lead, and to this day, he hasn't heard the end of it. As monumental as LeBron's collapse was in 2011, Curry's collapse in 2016 was even worse. Or what about Kobe Bryant's disastrous performance in the 2004 NBA Finals? Where in his prime, Kobe averaged just 22 points per game on 38% shooting from the field.
That's so terrible, bro. That's so terrible. That is so terrible.
And a dreadful 17% shooting from three for the series. The Lakers nearly got swept by the Pistons, winning just one game in the series, and Kobe would walk away from those 5 games with the worst playoff stretch of his entire career. This was one of the worst playoff series by a superstar in league history. But somehow, Shaquille O'Neal matched this piss-poor performance with a meltdown of his own in the 2006 NBA Finals. With Dwayne Wade carrying the load for the Miami Heat, Shaquille O'Neal had the worst stretch of playoff
Yeah, Shaq lost it there on that time.
games in his entire career. 14 points and 10 rebounds a game, while shooting just 29% from the free throw line and being an all-out liability on defense. His average game score throughout this 6-game series, 9.6. Literally equal to that of an average performance by an average NBA player in the finals.
That's garbage,
the man
bro.
scored 5 points in Game 2 and just 9 points in Game 6. This series should have been a huge black mark on Shaq's legacy, but it's not. 16 years later, and no one even remembers the fact that Shaq was getting benched in the NBA Finals. But wait, It gets worse, because back in 2014, Dwayne Wade put together the worst finals appearance by a superstar in modern NBA history. 15-3 a game on 43% shooting and finishing the series with an average
14%? Oh my god.
Of just 7.9 and a net rating of negative 7.8. A series this bad in the finals kind of makes you wonder how a performance like this went free of virtually any criticism. Maybe in the moment Stephen A. Smith spouted out a well-worded monologue, but that's about it. 8 years later, and this series collapse from Dwayne Wade might as well have never even happened. And believe it or not, there have been multiple superstars that virtually never had a bad playoff run. Here's Tracy McGrady's worst playoff series against the Jazz in 2007. Here's Dirk's worst playoff series against the Rockets in 2005. Larry Bird and Kawhi Leonard have never had a bad playoff series once they entered their prime. And with impossibly great consistency is Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, pretty much being the best all the time no matter what. So if these are the worst playoff series by some of the greatest players of all time, where does Durant's round 1 series against the Celtics land? Well, right here. Far from some of the worst playoff runs we've ever seen. Did Durant have a good first round series?
No.
Far from it, especially by his standards. But
Dang, I ain't gonna lie, that's the answer I did not expect to get.
26, 7, and 6 a game, and nearly had a 40-point triple-double in the closing game of the series. Now sure, we're used to seeing even more from Kevin Durant, and the fact that the Nets got swept out of the first round certainly doesn't help his case.
It don't.
But I mean, which is worse? Putting together a masterpiece of a choke job in the finals with a championship on the line, or getting bounced out of the first round of the playoffs long before you even had a shot. If you think this is the worst meltdown from a superstar in the playoffs, I've got some news for you. It's not even close. If this is the worst that we've ever seen and will ever see out of Kevin Durant, then it's a whole lot better than what we've seen from other all-time greats.
Yeah,
Kobe
definitely.
was a shell of himself in a final series that nearly ended up in a sweep. Shaq was getting benched in the NBA Finals. But because the Miami Heat walked away with the championship thanks to Dwayne Wade turning into God himself in a Heat jersey, Shaq's performance got swept under the rug. Back in 2010, Kevin Garnett averaged just 10 points per game against the Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals. But the Celtics still won in 6, so I guess we'll just act like that never happened. Don't get me wrong. Seeing Kevin Durant go over.
That's crazy though. You don't never play bad until you lose. I promise you. If you don't lose, then don't nobody remember it.
In the second half of a playoff game almost feels like some sort of dream. Like I should be waking up any moment now. Watching Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving default to Bruce Brown in the playoffs might just be the least likely thing I'd ever thought I'd see on an NBA court. But the fact is, no matter how good a player is, no matter what legacy they've spent years building, every single player has had a playoff run they wish they could get back. A series where they wish they could hit the reset button on and get another chance at. And this round 1 series just happens to be Kevin Durant's.
Definitely.
Hope you all enjoyed.
And even then, like I say, it's not even that bad. It's definitely not even that bad.
And as always, until next time.
This is why we love Jimmy, man. Jimmy different, bro. He puts us on, bro. He gives us all the, you know what I'm saying, the beautiful, beautiful, beautifulness, man, that we all need, bro. No cap. No cap. Well, Jimmy, just want to say thank you for the video, man. See you later.